By helping one individual recover their life, you're helping their whole family and all of the people who are close to them. And that's that ripple effect that helps build community. I've always thought a lot about energy. I think it's sort of one of those few things that are foundational in society. And I guess that'll always be the core of my career. My first job out of grad school was with Ballard Power Systems, and we were to build a submarine power generator. And I got that job to lead that team and develop the design, and I don't know if I knew what I was doing, but I took that job, and I wanted to do that job. And we developed that design, and I led that team, and we built this great big old submarine power generator for the Navy, and it worked. And I've often thought about that project. It's just one that I loved the team, I loved the people I worked with. We really got on together.
Gary was at Ballard, and we were in this other company called Celex Power, and we started working together professionally. If it wasn't for Gary at Ballard, things could have turned out quite differently for Celex Power, because Gary saw what we were doing, and he was a great internal champion in that organization for us. So we ended up having a great business relationship.
Ever since I was a young engineer working with them, he's a very giving person. So he's giving when you're working with them technically. He takes that time to mentor young engineers. Just a very, very decent, thoughtful, kind human being, and extremely hardworking as well.
I became involved with Turning Point shortly after I left Turning Point as a client. As a young engineer in my early 30s, I had my own struggles with addiction and with alcoholism. I didn't know where to go, I didn't know where to turn, I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what I was going to do. And I got introduced to a program called Turning Point thanks to my family and my friends, my employers, some good people in my lives showed me this option, this doorway for me, and I took it, and I'm glad I did. Turning Point provided that foundation for me to find my own recovery. And after finding my own recovery and becoming solid in that, I started volunteering in the houses and working with the residents and just kind of hanging out with them and providing that help.
Turning Point was founded by a guy named Jim Ross in 1982 who was recovering from addiction. And he opened his home to some homeless people that were having a hard time staying clean and sober. And since then we've grown to have 7 facilities and second stage building and drop-in center and an outreach program and a social enterprise cafe that we're sitting in. And it's really about helping people who have identified that they have an addiction issue to rebuild their lives, transition back to society, back to their families, to find recovery and purpose and meaning in life again.
About 12 years ago, I was invited to join the board of directors, and I'd never been on a volunteer board of directors before. I got a chance to sit in the boardroom and just kind of see how that works. I'm good with numbers, I can do numbers. And so I got a chance to be the treasurer, and I took the chair position over. And I spent, I think, about 6 years as the board chair.
It was a huge commitment to take this very humble grassroots little organization and suddenly decide we were going to expand threefold. And Gary did an incredible job of managing the concerns and the questions and the information that was always presented at board meetings and at board executive meetings. Gary's professional background made a profound difference in his leadership skills and abilities, his organizational skills, his way of thinking, his way of processing problems. So it made a big difference that we had a professional at the helm to guide us through some very difficult, challenging times.
I really feel great about what I'm doing with my life. And that's what I get as someone who volunteers. We need service in our communities, and it benefits our communities, but those who give the service, I think, benefit more. I've always benefited more from the service I've done.